Is your love lifting you higher?
Yes.
Let's try that again.
Yes.
Is your love lifting you higher?
Yes.
Thank goodness. Here I thought I preached for 3 weeks and nothing. Flatline. I might have to be a Walmart greeter. I don't know. If your love is lifting you higher, it means that the Jesus code is working. So we've spent the last 3 weeks talking about this set of instructions that actually came from Jewish law, that Jesus reminded us of how we are to behave, a set of instructions for how we are to live in the world if we want to experience heaven on earth. Heaven as in more love, more peace, more joy. And the code is very simple. Not easy, but simple. Love God, love yourself, love others. And the love that we've talked about has been a motion, an action, a consciousness, a movement in our lives. Not love the emotion that changes and comes and goes, but the love that is changeless, the love that can change, is the love that we've been talking about. And so we have learned to hold ourselves and others as sacred and as holy, to show reverence and respect for our own beingness and for the beingness of others. And so today we have one last piece of the code to decipher. Love God. How is your life a testament of that which is holy and sacred? How are you loving God? So everybody take a deep breath. We're going to create some space for those people that have an allergy to that word. Some of us, when we hear that word God, we have an allergic reaction. So I want us to think about that today. Today is an invitation for you to overcome your allergic reaction to that word. Because you see, that word is really 3 symbols, right? Letters are just symbols. There are 3 symbols that we have attached meaning to. And the interesting thing about that is, if we took a poll right now of everybody in the room, everyone will have assigned a different meaning to the 3 symbols that are exactly the same. Pretty amazing, right? In fact, I find it really interesting that if you rearrange those 3 symbols, you get the word D-O-G.
Yes.
Oh, now look at the smiles. Interesting. Same symbols, different reaction. I want you to think about unpacking the meaning of that word and the why behind it. Some of us have been raised to believe that that word symbolizes a puppet master, that we're all just puppets, and the great puppet master, God, is manipulating us, that we really don't have a choice, that there's this thing called predestiny. Others of us have been raised with the image of a judge, sitting high up on the bench, keeping an eye on us, waiting for us to step out of line so we can get zapped with some lightning or something. For others of you, you have grown up with this attachment to that word and the word Father. And depending on the father of your childhood, has influenced the meaning that you've given that little 3-letter word. It's time to think about the why of that. And to open ourselves up to maybe assigning a different kind of meaning to those 3 words. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to share with you my own story of my spiritual journey as part of our mini stories, One Humanity series that will last all year long, with different members of this community sharing their spiritual journeys. We heard from Andrea first. But it seems appropriate to share with you just a tidbit, a teaser, you might call it. There was a time in my life where I was very angry at God. Very angry. And I had lost my fear of hell. So I grew up Southern Baptist. I heard about hell every single Sunday. And I had reached a point in my life where I believed I was there already. So what was there to be afraid of? And in fact, I had determined that every single thing that had ever happened to me that was bad was his fault. And it took me some time to get over that. And part of that realization was that there wasn't something outside of me acting on me. That there wasn't something out there that was picking on poor little old me. I heard a story this week that kind of exemplifies this idea. Because maybe some of you blame God. Maybe some of you are holding God responsible for pain, for suffering, for bad things that have happened. There was a woman whose child died. She gathered the child up in her arms and she took the child to the Buddha. She'd heard that the Buddha had the power to resurrect people from the dead. So she takes her child and she cries and she pleads and she begs, please, 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 return my child to me. And the Buddha finally agrees on one condition. He tells her that she must go into the village and find one household where there has been no loss, and to ask them for a mustard seed as proof. And so she walks from town to house, and she talks to people. And as she travels from house to house, everyone has a story. Everyone has a loss. Everyone has had suffering. And finally, the woman returns to the Buddha. And when she arrives, her hand is empty. But her heart has been changed. And she gathers up her child. And she takes them into the village, where the villagers join her in burying and grieving this life. This story points to the fact that none of us have a corner market on suffering. None of us are exempt from it either. So there's not someone that's picking on you more than they're picking on me. There's also no one that really has it better than us. You see, in life, the rain falls regardless. And the rain falls on you, and it falls on me. But yet we don't go outside when it's raining or when it's snowing and curse the snow, because by golly, more flakes fell on me than they fell on you. Maybe it's time for us to put away being mad at God and instead step into a place of understanding that we are co-creators in this universe. As a collective consciousness, we have created illness. As a collective consciousness, we've created war. We've also created peace and love. We alone are responsible as a humanity for this life that we're living. And we've been given that authority by this creative force. Maybe it's time to redefine those 3 words. To redefine them in a way that exemplifies love and light. We started this series with a quote by Martin Luther King. Darkness cannot cast out darkness. Only light can. Hate cannot cast out hate. Only love can do that. Maybe it's time to expand our view so that we see the love and the light. There was a time early in my ministerial career where I was having a shift in consciousness. And it kind of shook me up. It was a little difficult and it was not pleasant. It was not one of those, ah, it was like a, ah, kind of moment. I'm a minister and I discovered that my God was too small. That really, I didn't know. And that was a shock to me because I thought as a minister I was supposed to know. And so suddenly I don't know. And not only do I not know, I don't know how to explain that I don't know. And what it is that I'm not knowing. It was really helpful for me during that time to pick up a book where Dr. Wayne Dyer discusses the Tao Te Ching. Because it helped me understand this place that I had come to. So I want you to open up to stepping into the mystery with me. The very first verse of the Tao Te Ching reads like this. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The Tao is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of 10,000 things. The moment that we begin to quantify and qualify God, we begin to limit that which is. Now, that's not a bad thing. That is a human thing. That is the humanity in us. Because the minute we hear G-O-D, we start to see through the lens of our experience, the lens of our emotion, the lens of a mind that is very limited. But it doesn't mean that we're wrong. It just means that it is. That when we begin to name something, we limit it. And he uses a great example. I'm going to borrow my friend Teresa's bottle over here. He talks about this. What is this?
Water.
Yeah?
Bottle.
It is also agua. If you're in Germany, it's
Wasser.
Wasser. If you're a scientist, it's
H2O.
Yeah. Did it change?
No.
No. It doesn't matter what we call it. The essence of it is still the same. This could be said of that 3-letter word. Whether it is God, Allah, Buddha, love, whatever we assign to it does not change the essence of it, the presence of it. And so what Wayne suggests is that we do what my friends Sherry and Di call both it. That it's both and. It is both those things that we name. Love, joy, peace, wisdom, strength. And that which is nameless. That mystery. That our mind cannot comprehend. That cannot be described. That which called it all into being. One of my favorite Karen Drucker songs that Us does is Let Go of the Shore. Let go of the shore. Let the water carry you. Let go of the shore. Walk into the mystery. Breathe into that expansion. That open space. So then the question becomes, how do we love that, right? That can't be described. That changes. For us, in our understanding, it doesn't change. That doesn't change. We change. So how do we love that? The Jesus Code tells us. And so does a parable that Jesus talks about in Matthew 25. He has the people gathered around him, and he's telling the story of a king and his relationship to the people in the kingdom. Then the people who have done what is right will answer him. Lord, they will ask, when did we see you hungry and feed you? When did we see you thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you needing clothes and give them to you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go and visit you? And the king will reply, what I am about to tell you is true. Anything you did for one of the least important of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. We have come full circle. Because you see, to love God, we love each other. To love God, we love ourselves. Because we are the place where God is. If you take nothing else away from the last 3 weeks, I hope that you understand in your heart and in your mind that truly, 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 everything is holy now. Holy. Worthy of complete devotion as one perfect in goodness and righteousness, as if sacred. All of life is good. All of life is sacred. All of life is just exactly as it should be in this moment. There's a song that I get to sing when I go to Florida, just because they sing it there. It's one of my favorite songs by Eddie Watkins Jr. And I hope someday Us will sing it for us. Just as a reminder of this lesson of loving God, loving yourself, and loving others. It's called, I Am the Place Where God Shows Up. Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing in the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone. There's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. You are the place where God shows up. As we end this series on love, I would say, you are the place where love lives, breathes and moves and has its being. You are the place where love shows up. We are the place where love lives, moves and breathes and has its being. We are the place where love shows up. Oh, you're getting it. Sing it with me. We are the place where love lives, moves and breathes and has its being. We are the place where love shows up. You, my friends, are sacred love. It is your nature. It is the want of you. Please go and be love in the world with infinite love and gratitude for your place in my heart and your place in the universe.